Hello again, everybody. It's Whiskey here. Path of Titans as usual on Arizoa as usual. And I wanted to talk about, in this video, I wanted to talk about my thoughts on the new updates. There's been a lot of new updates. It's August 2024 right now. And there's been several recent updates. And I also wanted to talk about some of my ideas on how we could, I think, how Alderaan and also how some of the community servers like Arizoa could actually improve Path of Titans. So the recent updates were this Apatosaurus was dropped. The Miragaia, little Stegosaurus thing, was also dropped and added to the game. I mean, when I say dropped, and there's a new aloe that they've added, which is kind of cool. And then there's a Pachyrhinosaurus. They also added some ponds to Savannah, and that was a long needed update. Been for a long time I've been saying that they need to add some ponds to Savannah for a couple of years now. It's just clearly a huge area with no water, and you either have to go to that big green pond in Hunter's Thicket, the healing pond, or you have to go to the salt flats. I mean, not salt flats, the hot springs to get water, and that's all fine. But the thing is that what it's doing right now is it's contributing to there being hotspots in the servers, and mainly the hotspot is Grand Plains. And the reason Grand Plains is such a hotspot is because it's like Savannah, that it has a lot of easy questing, and it's a very big, wide open area, so it's easy to see when there's predators coming. There's water sources all over the place. There's Wilderness Peaks, there's Crater, there's the river that rarely ever goes bad. It's usually drinkable water in the area between those three things. If those three aren't drinkable, then you can always go down to Young Grove and hit that pond, and you can even go across the river over to Titans Pass Lake. So there's a lot of exit points as well. There's a lot of water sources. There's a lot of easy questing items. There's carcasses, burrows, salt rock. There's just a lot of things in that area that make it easy for most people to survive. And so because of that, there's a lot of berry bushes, so it attracts a lot of herbivores. The herbivores attract the carnivores. Then just players in general attract more players. So it becomes a hot spot. So by adding those ponds to Savannah, I think I always said would create another area that's similar to GP. And they finally done that, and I was really excited to see that. I was really glad that they did that. My one criticism is why of that entire area of Savannah, why in the world they would put the ponds right next to the other two water sources. Like, you almost couldn't have gotten them any closer to the two water sources that are nearby in Hot Springs and the pond, the Hunter's Thicket Green Pond. They could have put them on the other side, of Savannah. Sometimes I don't understand the choices that they make sometimes. Maybe it has something to do with game design that I don't know. But here's the ponds right here. They're on the eastern side of Savannah. There's three of them, and they're they're as close as they could possibly be to the other two water sources. So I don't understand that. I would have put them on the other side, spread out the water sources a little bit. But they didn't. I don't know why, but I'm glad they added the ponds. And it has so far. It's only been a few days now, but every time I come here, that Dino scared the crap out of me. I'm glad he was going for the Latins, although I'd have been able to survive it. But he didn't catch them. Luckily, they were symbioting for me, and they were pretty cool, fun, entertaining to have near me at the time. But that was Brown Shorts moment right there. Anyway, bad joke. So so the ponds, I'm glad they added. It has created another hotspot, which is really cool because now the players are kind of split between GP and Savannah, and it's really neat because it now, like, when I'm playing in a group of friends, we'll go like to Savannah, and if there's nothing in Savannah, then we can go over to GP, and we can go back and forth now. So we can do like Grand Plains, Titans Pass, Birchwoods, Green Hills, Hunter's Thicket, Savannah, and make a big loop. And I think a lot of players are doing that now, which is super cool because it's spreading people out around the map. We're encountering players in other POIs more now than ever, and so I'm really happy for that. I think it's going to be a huge benefit for the game because it gets boring sitting around in GP all the time. And GP is when there's only one hotspot, it attracts the real like scumbag players, for lack of a better term. I call them kind of scumbag players, and it's the players that just they sit around and they just wait in the hot spots and they just wait for easy targets, and all they want to do is just kill other players for no other reason other than just to kill them. They don't want any kind of challenge, and they just wait for people to get low, for third parties to wait for a Terry to happen between two apexes, and then they just pick off one of the apexes that's low. This is an oil pond, by the way, what I was just showing in that video. Arizoa added that specifically to this area, which I think is a great addition as well. It's these little oil ponds. So that's a regular pond in most servers, but in Arizoa, one of those 3 ponds back there was an oil pond. It's like a tar pit, I guess you should say, not an oil pond. My bad. But anyway, I think that's a really neat addition. And Arizoa Creator Pack has all kinds of cool little things like that. And it's just another testament to how awesome the Arizoa server is, and the Arizoa staff and the community in general, but the staff and the developers and the people that are doing these things, the balancing and the creative stuff that they're developing is just, I mean, it's bar none the best server in Path of Titans, 100%. So if you guys haven't checked out Arizoa, I highly recommend it. I've got some videos, other videos, criticizing it a little bit, but it's, you know, every server is going to have, no server is going to be perfect. So, you know, you've got to take the good with the bad. And with Arizoa, there's some complaints I have, but they're so minor compared to the benefits that come with Arizoa. And overall, I think it's great. And so, like I said, I highly recommend it. But anyway, I really love what they're doing. The tar pits is just one example. They also added a lava pit in the dry season to Crater, which is really neat. And they've got a lot of little nests and things with eggs in them that the birds can sit in, so it doesn't look like they're being impaled on trees and stuff like that. So they really do put a lot of great work into the server, and I do really appreciate it very much. And I think you guys will too. So we went over, so yeah, they've got the Apatosaurus, the Mira Gaia, all these the ponds and stuff like that. Those are some of the recent updates to it. There's this Allo, this new Allo that they added, which I haven't played yet, but I think I like the concept of it, and I like everything about it except for the sounds. I think the original Allo sounds, and even the original Allo model, I think is better. I really love the OG Allo model and the sounds that it makes. Its skills and its abilities were the big problem with it, and it always just as it seems like it's way too squishy on every server. And Allo's one of my favorite dinosaurs, and I think they nailed the model on the OG Allo. The new model looks like a skinny, scrawny little, like, I don't know what, like some kind of a weird, like Dryo or what's that new cryo thing that they put out? I don't know. I don't like the looks of it, and I don't like the sounds of it. However, the abilities on it are amazing. So I think they should just take those abilities, put them on the OG Allo, and they'd have the perfect Allo. But anyway, they're adding some pretty cool new stuff to it, to the server, to Path of Titans in general. Some of the things that I think they could do to really improve Path of Titans, both Path of Titans and Alderaan, and also some of the community servers like Arizoa could do. In terms of Path of Titans and Alderaan, I am not liking these new status effects and stuff that they're doing, like on the Miragaia and on the Serato and on the Albertoceratops and on any, like the Dasp and the different dinosaurs that have these calls. They're making these visual like indicators to indicate that there's a buff going on or something like that. I really don't like that. I think that indicator should just be in the little hot bar that you see that every player sees on the screen. So if a Dasp buffs up, just give us a little icon right there above our hot HUD ability bar there to show that the DASP is buffed and what the time is on it. Not a thing that everybody can see in the world. I think that really takes away from the realism. In the same way that the Serato and the Alberta Ceratops, they have that enraged ability, and it like makes their eyes glow and the steam puff come out of their nose. That's arcadey, and it again, it's totally counter realism in my opinion. I don't like that stuff. Maybe the steam puffs coming out of their nose is cool and all, because that is somewhat realistic. But the red eyes, I mean, come on, man, this should not be an arcade game. It should be a realistic dinosaur game, and that's what I love about Path of Titans. And what makes it different and sets it apart from all the other PvP, MMO type games out there is the realism of it. So that's just my opinion on that. I think they should take that stuff away, and it would really improve the game in my opinion. And take away the audible buff visual cues. We don't need that. Just put it in our little hotbar. So that brings me to the hotbar. So the ability bar that you see on the screen, and just the HUD in general, is way too big. I mean, look at how much it clutters up the screen. Like, the top right quadrant of the screen is damn near covered up by the mini-map. I don't need that big of a mini-map up there. It may be just the mini-map, but like, make the Savannah grassland really a lot smaller, and underneath it maybe. And then the ability bar on the bottom, I mean, that's a huge thing, plus the chat screen on the left, that's covering up the left, the left lower quadrant of the maps of the screen. So like the left lower side of the screen and the upper right side of the screen, and then when you have a bunch of quests listed on there, like I do right here in this shot, look at how much of the screen is taken up. The whole right side, plus if you're shedding and they have all these pop-ups, like when you're done with quests, there's all these banners. The screen is filled up with a bunch of abilities and health bar and quests and chat screen. I mean, look at it right now. Look at this, how bad that is. You can hardly see what the game that you're looking at. I mean, take that off, guys. Like, at least give us the ability to turn that stuff off. I know we can turn the HUD off, but then when you turn the entire HUD off, you lose everything. I wish it was customizable to where we could just, the quests menu could be a separate menu that we could check sometimes. And give us the ability to keep that chat, a lot smaller. Make the chat box a lot smaller, or do a thing where it'll, like, a little tiny dot like shows up, like the size of that recording dot, something about that size to tell you that somebody's chatting, so you could go look at it when you get a chance to go look at it. But I don't like the fact that the whole thing pops up every time somebody chats. You can turn that off also, but then the problem is when there's people that are trying to communicate with you, meaningful communication, you might miss it. So I think just a little dot to tell us, hey, somebody's chatting, so we can look at it from time to time, like as a little reminder, I think would be just fine. And then the mini map, keep the mini map like it is, but give us the ability to make it smaller or bigger, and give us the ability to keep the quests off. Like as it is right now, you can go in and turn and uncheck box the quests, but as soon as you go into a new POI, they come back again. I want the ability to just turn quests off, period, off or on, so we never have to see any of that if we don't want to. And then the ability bar and the health bar and the stamina bar, that could be a quarter of the size that it is, and put it down in the bottom right or the bottom left corner of the map, or give us the ability to choose where we want to put that, and give us the ability to make the size smaller if we want to, because I would make that a tiny, all I would do is just the health bar and the stamina bar and the food level and the water level, and I would keep it about the size of the words Green Valley and the percentage right above the minimap right now. I would make it about that big, and that's it. That's all I need, because that way I can see what I'm doing, and I can see the game a lot better, and I can see the enemies a lot better, and my group mates a lot better, and my character a lot better, and all that stuff. So yeah, I would definitely give us the ability to size and move and highly customize the HUD when we want to. The other thing I think they should do is give us the ability to put waypoints on the map, on the big map. When we pull the big map up, we should be able to put waypoints down that our group can see. I think that would really help with group communication. And then in the main menu, the dinosaurs in the main menu when you first log in, they always change the order that they're in. please give us the ability to organize those. It'd just be a great quality of life improvement. We can sort them and organize them how we want to so that they're always in the same spot on the list every time we log in. Minimal thing, but I think it would be a huge quality of life improvement for most of us. And then the other thing, the last thing basically is, not the last thing, but another thing is the skins. They did add some skins. PT gave us some skins on the Dilo and on the PT Rex and some of the other PT mods, which I think is cool. I'm not a huge fan of the Rex ones. I think we need some more. I like the realistic stuff, more camouflage type skins. I don't like the bright colors and the gaudy, spots and stripes and all that. I'd like to get some more realistic stuff. Like give us some stuff that we see that other predators in the wild have, like tigers and lions and alligators and things like that. Some more camo type skins I think would be really cool. And then as far as what Arizoa could do, I think another thing that would really help and be cool would be for allow us to have mobbing. Because there's big herds around, like trike herds and apatosaurus herds and these giant herds. I think we should have the ability to let two sets of giga pairs hunt, like let's say a trike herd that's got more than 4 trikes in it, or more than 5 trikes, or whatever the limit is. Same thing with apatosauruses. If there's 3 or 4 or 5 apatosauruses, let 2 rexes hunt that, or 2 sets of gigas. I think we could add a mobbing feature into the rule set in Arizoa, and I think it would really help make the gameplay a little more exciting for both players, both the herbivore players and the carnivore players, because it really seems like, as it is right now, you get into a huge herd and nothing ever attacks the herd. They just walk around the map and they eat and drink, and maybe that's fun for those players. And so you could, it could be a simple rule where you say, okay, if you're in a herd that's bigger than X amount, then you can't mob it. But if it's between, X and Y number of players in the herd, then you can be mobbed on by, a limited number. Like let's just say 2 sets of Rexes, or 2 sets of Gigas, or 2 Rexes, or something like that. Or a max pack of sub-apexes can mob with a single apex, or something like that. I just think some type of a mobbing rule would really help make gameplay a little bit more exciting, and it wouldn't take away from the realism either. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is some of the things that I'm excited for. Some rumors are that the Iggy's getting a TLC. Well, they've announced that. Alderon's announced that. I'm excited for that. I think that'll be cool to see the new boxing mechanic, where it's going to stand up on its hind limbs and do more of a boxing type look when it fights with its thumbs, rather than how it is right now. They definitely could make that a little bit easier to hit, because right now it's kind of weird the way it hits. And then the dive ability, I think, is going to be really cool. That'll make it truly like a hippo in the wild, and I think that'll be a neat thing for the Iggy to have. And then the acro, there's a rumor that Arizoa is coming out with an acro. I think I'm really excited for that. I hope that they do something where they give the acro the current Giga profile, and then they give the Giga more of a solo apex, make the Giga basically the counterpart to the Rex, like the other solo apex. So that way there's 2 different types of solo apexes out there. There's the bone break Rex that we have now, and then there could be the Giga, which is the bleeder endurance type apex. And they have 2 different kind of purposes and 2 different types of biomes that they hang out in, but they could basically double the health of the Giga and maybe improve the damage on it, and make it the Rex's nemesis. I think that would be really cool, and then give the acro the ability to be like the apex pair that has the current Giga profile. I think would be kind of neat. Maybe with some minor tweaks. That could be the nemesis of the Pycnos and the Mapes and that type of thing. The other duo sub apexes and the DASP apexes out there, and even in the Allos and stuff. And then the Torvosaurus, I think I'm excited for that as well. I think the addition of those things would be really fun, and along with the Apatosaurus and the other things that we've been seeing, it's really cool to see them doing all these additions and the things that they're improving in the game. The graphics have really improved. A lot of the stuff's improved. And then I know I said the last thing, but this is the last thing, would be the the meshing in this game. I hate the meshing in the game. I hate how when you fight, the dinosaurs mesh through each other, and you can mesh through objects in the game. I think that I don't know why they haven't fixed that, and I don't know why they can't fix it or they don't want to fix it. I'm not sure what the situation is there, but other games don't have the problem. For Honor, Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, those are all melee type games where you're hitting people with hands and swords and weapons, and there's no meshing in those games. You don't phase through the enemies when you're fighting. They have multiplayer PvP in those games, and you don't get the weird meshing that you do in this game. It seems to be unique to this game. But there's plenty of other melee combat games that are using Unreal Engine that don't have the meshing. So I guess I just say please fix that. It would be a huge improvement. Another thing that would be a really cool quality of life improvement would be if we could have the dinosaur location when we're in our home screen and we're getting ready to select a dinosaur. If there was it would tell us the location of that dinosaur, if it was in Savannah or whatever POI it was in. I think that would be a huge help. Just so that we know, because some of us have multiple, like I have multiple Rexes. I know where my Rexes are, but there's a huge list of dinosaurs, and I don't always remember where my Dilo is or my Latin, because I can't remember the last time I logged off on it, and I don't know where it is, and I wish I would be able to have something where it could tell me, oh yeah, that's in Savannah or that's in Grand Plains, because that way, if I know it's in Grand Plains and I know there's a huge fight going on there, maybe I don't want to log into it at that point in time. Or if I've got multiple dinosaurs, then I know my friends are in Savannah. If I knew that thing was in Savannah, I'd be able to, log into the one that's in Savannah and not in the one that's in Darkwoods or whatever the case may be. So that would just be a cool little quality of life thing I think that they could add to the game that would improve it. So that's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any ideas for how we can improve Path of Titans. Let me know in the comments below. Give me a like and subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate you watching the video, and I hope to see you out there in Gondua. Goodbye.